Ever wonder why we're so obsessed with humans who have the powers of gods? Welcome to the Daily Dive. I'm Dylan, and today we're looking at the history of gods walking among us.
It's a concept as old as human language itself, Dylan.
Seriously? Like right from the very start of recorded history?
Absolutely. Since we first picked up a stylus, we've been writing about demigods.
Wait, what exactly is a demigod? I hear that word a lot.
Typically, it's someone who is half human and half divine.
So like a hybrid? A supernatural mix?
Exactly. Usually the child of a god and a mortal.
Who was the first one we ever heard of?
That would likely be Gilgamesh from ancient Mesopotamia.
The guy from the epic poem?
The very same. He was said to be 2/3 god.
Hold on, 2/3? How does that work?
Mythology doesn't always follow the rules of biology, Dylan.
Fair point. But why would people invent these characters?
They serve as a bridge. They make the divine feel reachable.
So they're like the middleman between us and the big guys upstairs?
Precisely. They face human struggles, but with extra firepower.
I'm thinking of Hercules. He's the classic example, right?
Heracles is the big one. His life was basically one long tragic test.
Tragic. I thought he was just a buff guy fighting monsters.
The gods put him through hell. He had to earn his place on Olympus.
So even being half god isn't a free pass.
In many ways, it's actually a curse.
Wait, really? How so? They don't fit in anywhere. They're too powerful for Earth, but too human for the heavens. That sounds lonely, like the ultimate outsider vibe.
It is. Look at Achilles. He was nearly invincible, but still died from a tiny wound.
The famous heel. It's such a weirdly specific weakness.
It's a metaphor for how our human side always catches up to us.
No matter how much God you have in you, you're still mortal.
Exactly. But then you have people who claimed they were total gods while they were still alive.
Like actual world leaders?
The pharaohs of Egypt were considered living gods on earth.
That's a bold job description.
They weren't just messengers. They were the incarnation of Horus himself.
Did people actually buy into that?
For thousands of years they did. It kept the entire society stable.
I guess you don't argue with someone who controls the sun.
Exactly. It gives the leader absolute, unquestionable power.
What about the Romans? I know they loved their emperors.
Rome was different. They usually waited until an emperor died to make him a god.
So it's like a post-human promotion?
Yes, it's called apotheosis, the process of becoming divine.
But some didn't want to wait, right?
People like Caligula or Nero were pretty convinced they were gods right then and there.
And that usually ended badly, if I remember correctly.
It usually led to a lot of ego and eventually an assassination.
So humanity has this weird obsession with being more than human.
It's about transcending our limitations. We want to believe we can be infinite.
Do you think we still do this today, without the robes and temples?
We definitely do. We just call them celebrities and icons now.
Wait, are you saying Beyoncé is a demigod?
The way people talk about her, you'd think she was.
True. The language we use for stars is almost religious.
We follow their lives like their scripture. We worship their every move.
And when they fall, we're shocked, like they weren't supposed to be human.
That's the Achilles heel all over again. The mortality coming back to haunt them.
It's like we need these figures to represent our highest potential.
We use them as avatars for our own dreams of greatness.
Is avatar a divine term too?
It comes from Hinduism. It means a deity descending to earth in a physical form.
So it's not just blue people in movies?
No, it's a very ancient and sacred concept of divine manifestation.
It seems like every culture has their own version of this.
Norse, Aztecs, Japanese, they all have these semi-divine figures.
It's a universal human story.
Because we're all trying to figure out what it means to have a soul and a physical body.
That's deep, Anna. Really deep.
That's what the myths are there for. They handle the heavy lifting.
Okay, let's recap some of these terms for the listeners. What about demigod?
A being who is part mortal and part divine.
And divine?
Anything related to or proceeding directly from a god.
What was that A word? Apotheosis?
It means the elevation of a human to the status of a god.
And finally, what's a pantheon?
It's the collective group of all the gods within a specific religion.
Like the Avengers, but for the universe. That is surprisingly accurate, actually. I knew my comic book knowledge would pay off one day. Modern superheroes are just our new mythology, Dylan. I love that. Thanks for joining us today, Anna. Always a pleasure to dive into the deep end. That's our show. Go out and find your own inner divinity today. See you tomorrow on the Daily Dive.